Welcome to Vegan Ultra. I'm your inspiration guide, Adam Gallus, on this epic quest for health, hope, and happiness, in which I lose 150 pounds in 12 months on a whole food vegan diet while walking 3,000 miles to prove to myself, my family, and everybody watching on YouTube that we can all become the ultra versions of ourselves if we give it a chance and are powered by plants. It is Market Monday, so today we're talking about investing to give, and there is something that I have noticed a lot in the financial media. I'm sure you probably noticed it as well. Once again, we have a whole lot of doomsday prophets. This is just a classic example of the kind of headlines that Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, likes to dole out for the last decade, warning that starvation is coming. God have mercy on us all, and the worst market crash in history is coming. And why? Well, because let's take a look. Oh my goodness, the market is on fire, up 15 of the last 16 weeks. As you can see, in the last year, some of the more popular stocks, the Magnificent Seven, such as Nvidia and Meta, formerly Facebook, more than tripling, more than doubling. And of course, lots of doomsday prophets coming out telling us this is once again a market bubble because the market is at all-time highs. Well, as UBS points out, historically, stocks within 10% of all-time highs, 64% of the time, 34% of the time, they're at all-time highs, 1 in 3 market days. Since World War II is an all-time high, because guess what? Stocks go up over time. The economy grows, earnings grow. Those gains are sanctified by the righteousness of fundamentals. Well, let's take a look here. You might think, oh my God, the valuations are absolutely outrageous now. That means that this time is different. Actually, take a look at the valuation tool I create for our clients, updated each week. Actually, right now, if we take a look at enterprise value to EBITDA, think of it as cash adjusted earnings. So what is that? Well, think of it this way. If a company is trading at $200 and has $100 in cash and $50 in debt, what does it actually cost to buy that company? Well, you have to add the debt because you got to pay that off if you buy the company. But that $100 in cash, that is money that you get as well. So basically the company, enterprise value, the actual cost of buying the company, $150. So if we take a look at the cash adjusted earnings of the market right now, roughly 13.5. Market is historically just 2% overvalued. The NASDAQ, 4%, and the Dow is actually pretty much at fair value. So, what about the recession? Because I'm sure that you've heard some things like Jeremy Grantham. I've seen the headlines. Oh, Jeremy Grantham famously called the 2008 crash and the 2000 crash. Mind you, he's basically been calling crashes for decades. It's what he does. Well, he predicts recession. Well, even if you could my apologies, some technical difficulties. Well, here we have from Charlie Bilello since 1928. Even if you could perfectly time every recession, which nobody else can do, which no one actually can do, guess what? Buy and hold still would have outperformed market timing because the economy is not the recession, or the stock market. Stock market is not the economy other than the Great Depression. And guess what? I have access to over 128 weekly updated fundamental metrics for the economy. There is no evidence, zero, of their financial crisis, much less a depression brewing. But guess what? Market timing, the most dangerous thing you can ever try. Yes, it always sounds good in theory. And guess what? It is in theory and nowhere else. In the last 20 years, the average investor achieved around 30% inflation-adjusted returns while the stock market tripled. Why? Because according to JP Morgan, it's all due to market timing. So let me show you this. Not only are we not headed for recession right now, basically the economy is accelerating. So the question is, are we simply facing a soft landing, a slowdown of about 1% to 1.5% growth, or do we accelerate to boom times? Right now, Atlanta Fed says we're growing at 3.4%. New York Fed, 3.3%. Well, guess what? If this data holds, and we in fact are growing at 1.5% faster than expected, Bank of America then estimates earnings come in 7% higher than expected. Well, they're expected at 11%, so that's 18% earnings growth. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but the Magnificent Seven, tech bubble, right? Guess what? Bloomberg just reports that Q4 earnings, most recent earnings, 53% earnings growth from the Magnificent Seven. Microsoft just reported 33% earnings growth. Meta's free cash flow up 140% in 2023. NVIDIA in the last 2 years, a 10-fold increase in free cash flow. In the last 3 years, a 1,200% increase. In other words, these gains have been almost entirely sanctified by the righteousness of fundamentals. There is no bubble. In the tech bubble, you had companies trading at 100 times sales, not even looking at earnings, price per eyeball. Here we have companies generating hundreds of billions of dollars in profits and free cash flow. Yes, guess what? There might be a correction this year. Probably will be. You have to assume that historically there is a 10 to 15% market correction every single year. That's completely normal. That is not a reason to panic and get scared out of the market. Right now, quite literally, the stock market, based on the economic data, is basically trading near fair value. Meaning that if you are interested in investing to give, the best time is always to get into the market now, because as Bill Miller, one of the greatest value investors of all time, who the only man to ever beat the market for 16 consecutive years, once said, it's time in the market, not timing the market, that matters in the end. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video to help other people find it on YouTube, and I hope you join us again next week for another exciting installment of Market Monday, where I help you to invest to give so you can maximize your impact, positive impact on the world. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful night. Just remember, consider trying a Blue Zone vegan lifestyle. It really is science-based magic and nutrition-fueled sources. Helped me lose over 100 pounds in 6 months. It can help anybody become the Captain America version of yourself if you give it a chance, and are powered by plants.